Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mataji, should I stop or should I continue?
Mataji. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Pranam Sankirtan ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Sang very nicely.
Nice singing, yes. So we'll welcome Her Grace Janvi Jeevan Mataji, and Mataji will take us today to the new chapter, which is the 9th chapter, and the shloka numbers from 1 to 3. So Mataji, over to you. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Swayam Rupa
इस्कॉन मंदिर गए
Panchakalpatarubhyasya cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Devamde Pranamami Shri Advaita Gadadhara Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I start sharing.
I think right now it's clear for everyone.
Yes,
your voice was breaking, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Now it is clear. Yeah, now it is clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mataji.
I have all.
Now it's okay, Mataji.
It's good? Okay. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so start reciting. So chapter 9, answers by citing Lord's version 2.9. Sorry, Canto 2, chapter 9, verse 1. श्रीशुक उवाच आत्मामयं ऋते प्रशयानुभवात्मनः न गतान्तरात्मसम्बन्धा स्वप्नदृष्टुरिवाज्ञसा. Anyone wants to recite?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavatam. Shri Shuka Uvacha Atmamayam Vrite Rajan Parasyanubhavatmanaha Nagate Tatha Sambandhaha Swapnadrastur Ivanjasa. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. So, any other Mataji wants to recite translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. That relationship is just like a dreamer seeing his own body working. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah. So shall someone read the purport also?
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam Mataji, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Maharaja Parikshit questioned as to how a living entity began his material life. Although he is apart from the material body and mind, is perfectly answered. The spirit soul is distinct from the material conception of his life, but he is absorbed in such a material conception because of being influenced by the external energy of the Lord, called Atma Maya. This has already been explained in the first canto in connection with Vyasadeva's realization of the Supreme Lord and his external energy. The external energy is controlled by the Lord, and the living entities are controlled by the external energy, by the will of Lord. Therefore, although the living entity is purely conscious in his pure state, he is subordinate to the will of the Lord, he is being influenced by the external energy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 15.5, also the same thing is confirmed. The Lord is present within the heart of every living entity, and all the living entities' consciousness and forgetfulness are influenced by the Lord. Now the next question automatically made will be why the Lord influences the living entity to such consciousness and forgetfulness. The answer is that the Lord clearly wishes that every living entity be in his pure consciousness as a part and parcel of the Lord, and thus he engaged in the loving service of the Lord as he is constitutionally made. But because the living entity is partially independent also, he may not be willing to serve the Lord, but may try to become as independent as the Lord is. All the non-devotee living entities are desirous of becoming equally as powerful as the Lord, although they are not fit to become so. The living entities are illusioned by the will of the Lord because they wanted to become like him, like a person who thinks of becoming a king without possessing the necessary qualification. When the living entity desires to become the Lord himself, he is put in a condition of dreaming that he is a king. Therefore, the first sinful will of the living entity is to become the Lord, and the consequent will be of the Lord is that the living entity forget his factual life and thus dream of the land of utopia where he may become one like the Lord. The child cries to have the moon from the mother, and the mother gives the child a mirror to satisfy the crying and disturbing child with the reflection of the moon. Similarly, the crying child of the Lord is given over to the reflection, the material world, to lord it over as karmic, and to give this up in frustration to become one with the Lord. Both these stages are dreaming illusions only. There is no necessity of tracing out the history of when the living entity desired this, but the fact is that as soon as he desired it, he was put under the control of Atmaya by the direction of the Lord. Therefore, the living entity in his material condition is dreaming falsely that is mine and this is I. The dream is that the conditioned soul thinks of his material body as I, or falsely thinks that he is the Lord and that everything is in connection with the material body is mine. Thus, only in dream does the misconception of I and mine persist life after life. This continues life after life, as long as the living entity is not purely conscious of his identity as a subordinate part and parcel of the Lord. In this pure consciousness, however, there is no such misconceived dream. And in that pure conscious state, the living entity does not forget that he is never the Lord, but that he is eternally the servitor of the Lord in transcendental love. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for reciting, reading nicely. So these are, there are answers asked by Parikshit Maharaj in previous chapter. So, chapter 2, questions asked by Parikshit Maharaj. Questions by Parikshit Maharaj was there, and there is a question in verse 8. He has some questions, and then for those questions, there are answers of those questions given in this beginning verses of this chapter. So, first verse is actually helping us to understand the relationship between the jiva and the body, the matter and spirit, who are the we are the body, and then what is our relationship with this body, like as a atma, what is the relationship with the body. And then it is given in the translation that one is, unless one is influenced by energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no relationship for the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. So this influence is the only thing, that is the Maya. Only due to Lord's external energy, Maya influencing us, then there is a relationship established between the material body and the pure soul, because soul is actually pure in its constitutional position, and soul is just getting in contact with material energy. Maya is becoming conditioned. Earlier it is in a constitutional position, which is natural state, and then now it is becoming as a getting in contact with the material. So it is becoming like from pure consciousness to contaminated consciousness, from constitutional position to conditional positions happening. So the relationship what is described in the translation is that just like a dreamer seeing his own body working, like that. So if you think about it, like we have these 5 fingers on our hand, and then the fingers are supposed to help our body. That means we use the fingers to do things required to our body, and then extend it to others, or in service we do for the pleasure of the Lord, like that. But if the fingers are ours to help, then what happens? Then there is something you see, right? So that is what it is. Like we as a natural position as a soul, which is a constitutional position, being a servant of the Lord in the spiritual world, we were averse to that position, not wanting to do that, and then we want to just do whatever we feel like. Then we got to establish that connection with the material energy, which is Lord only provided for us kindly. So influenced by the energy of the Lord, we establish the relationship for our soul, pure soul, with this material body, like that. So Parikshit Maharaj's question is that how these living entities actually begin is material life. So that has been answered here. The spirit soul is actually he is observed in this material consciousness of conception, influenced by material external energy of the Lord, which is called Atma Maya. And then it is this energy of the Lord is actually controlled by the Lord only. But what we are thinking, in a pure consciousness, we are subordinate to the will of the Lord. Now, what we are thinking is, we are the controller of this eternity. The whole life. This Krishna has given us a free will, and Krishna will not interfere in our free will. If he could, he can, but he actually doesn't feel like, doesn't want to interfere, because he has given us an opportunity for us to choose what we want to. Either we surrender to Maya or surrender to Krishna and do spiritual, be a servant and serve Krishna. But it is our choice, and then that makes the soul to feel the enjoyment of that eternity of being controller. And that is what influenced by material nature, and that is what Krishna actually being seated in all our heart, like sarvasya chaham hridi sannivistam, in Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 verse 15. So he is seated in every one of our heart, And he is actually giving us the knowledge, he's giving us the forgetfulness, and he's also giving us the remembrance. So now what happened now, when we came in contact with this material body, we actually, forgot our natural position. And then that is because we got influenced by the Lord. So that, living entity consciousness and forgetfulness are influenced by the Lord. And Lord being present in our heart is only watching us and then allowing us to execute our free will like that. So we want to understand now why Lord influences this living entity. The next question automatically came in the purport was Prabhupada has written is that why the Lord influences the living entity to such consciousness and forgetfulness. Answer also given clearly that Lord wishes that every living entity be in pure consciousness, the part and parcel of the Lord, and engage in His service. But that's a constitutional position. But because this living entity want to partially, enjoy independently, now he is not willing to serve the Lord, and he wants to become independent of the Lord. So now that is what the desiring to be powerful as powerful as a Lord. That alone is not fit to become so like that. So living entities, that's the reason got illusioned, because we are desiring to enjoy in our own way. So like that, a Lord wants to give that. So let's say like a person, Prabhupada has given an example, like person who thinks of becoming a king without any qualification, whatever necessary qualification required he wants to. Like you want to become a CEO of a company without any qualification, and that is what you desire to. And then he Lord is is giving you in that. But he is putting in the dream condition, being a king. So this is happening like in a dream condition. So what does that mean is that we as a super spirit soul, we are actually a constitutional position. We are in naturally work subordinate to the Lord and serving the Lord. But this existence of our the spirit soul in connection to this material body is actually in a dream state. That means we are trying to understand, like if I tell the crude example, like you want to see, if you see yourself someone cutting your head, can any one of us understand or see? Can any one of us see? We can't see, right? If someone is cutting our head, our head is chopped, nothing you can see. But here it is like that. We are actually disconnected with the Lord from the spiritual world to the material world. Now we are trying to enjoy, and there is one little enjoyment we are aspiring for, and in that there are continuously we have been getting lots of distresses and lots of dissatisfactions is going on, but we are still hoping against the hope to get some enjoyment. For that meager enjoyment, we are actually in a dream state, assuming or trying to be like a king. So therefore this is the first sinful will we had to become like a Lord, to enjoy like him. And then consequently what happened now, so Lord gave us that forgetfulness to enjoy this material world, because he has created this material world. This creation is like such a structure of this creation is such difficult to understand, and then he created for us to enjoy this material world. And then that if we don't give us forgetfulness, we will not be in that conditional state. We will be in our pure state of constitutional position, being a servant of the Lord. So he just it's actually in a land of dream. We the children go to this what is this dreamland is there here, some other Disneyland is there. This is all what is a fantasy world is there. But there they will just try to enjoy unlimitedly whatever they feel like. Sometimes we see there are some shows also, people wear mask and they just in the end after that I think in the end this show will happen, you can't even identify who this person is like that. We also want to be in this dreamland, and we want to become like a Lord, and I want to enjoy, and Lord Krishna is giving this facility for us to enjoy. So for that he is also giving us forgetfulness, so that it's influence of the material energy, so that we forget our eternal constitutional position and then become conditioned to this material nature. So Prabhupada gave nice example here. The child cries to have the moon from the father. Yeah, that example is beautiful. That mother gives the child a mirror to satisfy, because mother obviously can't bring the moon from the sky. He just have to, from Lord pastime, Lord Rama's pastime, right? How this pastime is there. Lord Rama himself asked, and then mother showed, in the moon, in the mirror. So like that, here it is also. So this mother is showing the child the reflection of the moon in the mirror. So like that, we are rebellious like Krishna, didn't want to be subordinate to Krishna in serving as a servant. We want to enjoy and become like a lord. And then he is given us a reflection of the spiritual world to the spiritual world, which is material world, and he is allowing us to load it up to this material world. And this is up, we are like this stage of dreaming is in an illusionary stage only. And then Prabhupada says that there is no necessity of tracing out the history when this living entity is desired, because this desire state is keeps on going in loop like that. Innumerable lifetimes we are taking like that. In the next verse Prabhupada describes there. So the fact is that as soon as we desire, straight away we are under the influence of this Atma Maya, and this is under the direction of the Supreme Lord only. Therefore, these living entities in the material condition, we are all in a dream state. And then we are thinking it's mine and me and I and like that, So anything belongs to this laptop is mine, this phone is mine, and this property is mine, or children are mine. This kind of consciousness we have. But in general, everyone belongs to Krishna. Nothing is ours like that. Yeah. And then you think I am these like designations that I'm Indian, I'm American, or I'm Australian, like that. We get falsely. I'm like I have a false. I'm Indian, but I have an Australian passport. I think I'm Australian. So this is like that. So the conditioned soul is the is connected to material body like that, falsely thinking that we are possessing all this, acquiring all this, and then everything is in eternity we are thinking we are controller of all this. So that connection is established because of our actual feeling of that mind. Possess a material body is mind like that. So that's only in dream this conception, misconception of I and mine is existing. Actually, in real it will not. So that is what, as long as living entity is not in pure consciousness, if he is not in pure consciousness, he is not accepting the identity as his subordinate part and parcel of the Lord. Lord actually wants us to be as a servant of him and like that. But Lord, no one can force. And Lord doesn't want. He's the last person to force us. Because who want us to be loved forcefully? You and me will not like us. Anyone will forcefully love us, right? For example, if you want to feed someone prasad, you invite them lovingly. And then dadadi pati granati, exchange loving relationships. So you exchange gift and you offer gift like that. So you also feed the devotees, and you also be like to be fed, and it's a loving exchange. So not like obligation or dutifully you're doing it. So unless we have that loving consciousness or loving exchanging relationship with the Lord to serve him, it's not possible. So he is not interfering in our free will until that choice we make, that okay, we want to love the Lord with our whole heart, and he is not accepting, he will not interfere in our free will like that. So unless living entity is not purely consciousness of his identity as a subordinate part and parcel of the Lord, we will continue to be in life after life, we'll continue to be in this dream state. So like that, in his what is that last line he said, na swapna duster ivagnyasa. He says that, na? So it is, what is that? Swapna duster ivagnyasa is just, you want to like, enjoy like a tiger. I mean, sorry, if you see in a dream, there is a tiger attacking you. And then you feel, tiger is attacking you like that, you will be feeling loudly. And then if you can't, face it until the tiger attacks you, you will wake up. And then you don't want to see that situation anymore like that. So it is like the word, where is the tiger? There is no tiger. It's in the dream. You just see the tiger in the dream, but it's not actually happening. So our consciousness is also like that. It's a cause of fear, and then there's no tiger, we feel, and then out of cause of fear, we get disturbed in our dream, and then we come back to our awakeness. So like that, we have sufferings in this material world, and we are not able to understand. We are in a dream state. So we are thinking this is enjoyment, and we are keeping on going like that. So in pure consciousness, that's why Prabhupada says there is no such misconceived dream. And in that pure consciousness, the state of living entity does not forget. So in impure consciousness means contaminated consciousness or conditioned consciousness, we have forgetfulness. Krishna gave us for us to enjoy. Kindly he has given us. But he has given us a remembrance also through the scriptures, through the Shastras, through the representatives of the Lord. He helps us to remember him. And then, that way, knowledge is giving us, remembrance also is giving us, forgetfulness also is giving us. But forgetfulness is giving us that we want to enjoy that. So he's giving us. So like that, there is never the Lord, there's eternally as long as we are eternally the servitor of the Lord in the transcendental love, he will not give forgetfulness. But if we are in that misconceived dream state, then we will have that forgetfulness, and then in pure consciousness, we would like to eternally serve the Lord. And our constitutional position is a servant of the Lord only. So like that. So this particular situation of us in this material world connecting to our Atma, to the body, is actually a dream state like that. So that is what Prabhupada is describing here. The dream is the conditioned soul, thinks that I am the material body, like that, falsely thinking that we are Lord and we have that connection with the material body and want to enjoy like that. Yeah? Is that clear? Anyone wants to share or add anything else? Or
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I just had one question. Can I ask?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Mataji, why does Krishna give us forgetfulness of our original position? Because when we were with him in the spiritual world, in spite of we being in the original state, we still wanted to enjoy. Is why he brought us down. Now, after bringing us down, why does he give us forgetfulness? He can still let us be in the same state that we were in the spiritual, and on our own, if we still want to enjoy, is what, because by giving forgetfulness, there is no way that we are going back to him, no?
Yeah. But the thing is that we wish to, Lord clearly says, here it is, see, the second paragraph, first, second two lines only, you see. Next question asks automatically, Lord, when he is influencing the living entity to such consciousness and forgetfulness, why? The Lord clearly wishes that all of us to be in pure consciousness. But what we are trying to do is, we want to, we are not willing to serve the Lord. This is the main thing. And we want to be independent of the Lord, and we want to be like the Lord. So this living entity wanting to partially independent like that, then this is a desirous situation of the living entity to become as equal as powerful of the Lord. And that's the reason he gives us the forgetfulness. If he don't give us forgetfulness, we will not be able to enjoy. And we have the tinge of desire to enjoy independently out of envy. I want to become like Lord. Like example is given, I want to become like a king. So we don't have a qualification to become a king. But it's happening in the dream state. Like that, Krishna is allowing us to forget what we want to desire so that we will enjoy that. That's it. Is that clear, Mataji?
Yeah, meaning I still have that doubt that we were in our forgetful, we were in remembrance, still we had wanted to enjoy, right?
Yeah.
So even when he brought us down here, and if he would have kept us in the same state, we were in the state of enjoyment. But at least then we would have enjoyed, and then we would have thought, oh no, I don't want this, I want to go back. By giving forgetfulness.
Correct. Yeah. Forgetfulness is given initially for us to, okay, you want to enjoy, okay, there's a place for you to enjoy and provided this material. But see, remembrance is also he has given. That's what Bhagavad Gita 15 says, chapter 15. He's giving remembrance, he's giving knowledge, he's giving forgetfulness. All three were been given. So forgetfulness is given initially for us because we want to enjoy. But he has given an opportunity for us to get the knowledge from the Shastra. And then also, he is giving remembrance, each and every time, through the association of the devotees, through this, parampara we have got. So the connection with the devotees always check us to remember we are, we are not the body, we are the soul, and we want eternal constitutional position is serving the Lord, like that. So he is giving us an opportunity to remember. So when we get in connection with the scriptures and with the bona fide authority of, representative of the Lord, then that remembrance and knowledge makes sense to us. Oh, we don't want to actually do this, we will see ourselves in a different situation to compare to other mundane non-devotees or people who don't want to actually understand or remember or gain knowledge about Supreme Lord. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so all are given. It's not that he's making us to suffer here, but we chose this thing to do, and then he is kindly facilitated this material world. So we forget and enjoy like that. Yeah, there is a,
Hare Krishna.
if I, yeah, yes, Mataji.
Sorry, Mataji. You go on.
Yeah, like another crude example is that, I would say that, people who are addicted to some kind of drugs or, any kind of thing, what do? They want to forget their suffering and they are doing that. So, but what they are actually doing is they are spoiling them more by getting into that kind of habit. That forgetfulness will not help them in any way. We know if we see any person like that. That's not what you're supposed to do. Yeah, they're thinking they're enjoying actually. But that's not enjoyment. Krishna also feels the same thing with us. We forget and we want to enjoy here. He will feel that it's not enjoyment, we are doing it. But what can we understand? That we want to enjoy like that. He is given us an opportunity to enjoy like that. Yeah. Mataji, someone want to say something?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Then we'll pronounce Mataji. Mataji, my understanding, just clear me if I'm correct. So this forgetfulness, actually the Lord has given.
Mataji, your
because,
voice is, to me, it is not clear. I'm not sure if it is for everyone.
Audible now? Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. So Mataji, about this forgetfulness, I was also having the same doubt. Then I got this understanding. Just correct me if I'm wrong. So it's like a child when he is crying repeatedly for some object or something, then the father, he just sanctions what he wants, right? So and then we used to say like, okay, if you go to that place and if you get affected by that, only then you will come back. So till then the father will not interfere, right? So because it is the adamants of the child. So that's why we being conditioned souls, we were adamant that I want to do this. So that's why the Lord has given that forgetfulness. So if you forget only, you can enjoy that. So, and as you said that, and also he has given the remembrance through the Vedas, through the scriptures, so that we can remember him. Then we will have the clear vision who we are. So, is it right, Mataji?
Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, so he's giving this, covering with this illusionary energy of his, external energy, and then he is allowing us to enjoy because we desire to do so, and he's kind enough to is giving this opportunity for us to enjoy. Yeah, so that forgetfulness state only will help us to enjoy because we are in a dream state, and in dream what happens? We forget we are sleeping and we are in a different world altogether. So, but we don't think that we are in a dream. Suddenly we realize only when we wake up it's our dream. It's not real. Like that example of tiger chasing you or attacking you. It's like that. So as long as we want to falsely enjoy, then the opportunity for us to enjoy has been given through the illusionary energy and in the state of forgetfulness only. If we don't forget, we are fortunate that we want to, again, immediately when we think we liberate, we become servant of the Lord. And that's how we are trying to do in this material world. So trying to serve the Lord so that one fine day we will go to spiritual world and eternally serve him there. That's our constitutional position, right?
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Yeah. So we'll go to next verse if we are all okay.
May I read, Mataji?
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Bahurupa iva pati manyaya bahurupaya ramamano gunashvasya mamaham iti manyate. Translation में Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The illusionary living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying in the modes of material nature, the encaged living entity misconceives thinking in terms of I and mine. Purport also, Mataji?
Yeah, anyone else wants to read? Anya.
Yes,
Anita
Mataji.
Mataji
Shall I
is
read,
there.
Mataji?
Yeah, Mataji wants to read. Yeah.
Anita Mataji.
Yeah.
Anita Mataji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhupada. The different forms of the living entities are different dresses offered by the illusory external energy of the Lord. According to the modes of nature, the living being desires to enjoy. The external material energy is represented by her three modes, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. So even in the material nature, there is a chance of an independent choice by the living entity, and according to his choice, the material energy offers him different varieties of material bodies. There are 900,000 varieties of material bodies in the water. 2 lakh, oh my God, what is this? 200,000 vegetable bodies.
20 lakhs
uh,
actually.
1100,000 worms and reptiles, 100,000 forms of birds, 300,000 different bodies of beast, and 400,000 forms. Altogether, there are 84 lakhs varieties of bodies in different planets of the universe, and the living entity is traveling by so many transmigrations according to different bodies of enjoying spirit within himself. Even in one particular body, the living entity changes from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to
Youth.
from youth to old age, and from old age to another body created by his own action. Hare Krishna Mataji. So can anyone read from here?
Yeah, okay. Anyone wants to read from there?
I'll read, Mataji.
Deepa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
The living entity creates his own body by his personal desires, and the external energy of the Lord supplies him the exact form by which he can enjoy his desires to the fullest extent. The tiger wanted to enjoy the blood of another animal, and therefore, by the grace of the Lord, the material energy supplied him the body of the tiger with facilities for enjoying blood from another animal. Similarly, a living entity desiring to get the body of a demigod in a higher planet can also get it by the grace of the Lord. And if he is intelligent enough, he can desire to get a spiritual body to enjoy the company of the Lord, and he'll get it. So the minute freedom of the living entity can be fully utilized, and the Lord is so kind that he will award the living entity the same type of body he desires. The living entity's desiring is like dreaming of a golden mountain. A person knows that a mountain is, and he knows also what gold is. Out of his desire only he dreams of a golden mountain, and when the dream is over, he sees something else in his presence. He finds in his awakened state that there is neither gold nor a mountain, and what to speak of a golden mountain. The different positions of the living entities in the material world under multifarious manifestations of bodies are due to the misconception of mine and I. The karmi thinks of this world as mine, and the jnani thinks I am everything. The whole material conception of politics, sociology, philanthropy, altruism, etc., conceived by the conditioned souls is on the basis of this misconceived I and mine, which are products of a strong desire to enjoy material life. Identification with the body and the place where the body is obtained under different conceptions of socialism, nationalism, family affection, and so on and so forth is all due to forgetfulness of the real nature of the living entity, and the whole misconception of the bewildered living entity can be removed by the association of Sukdev Goswami and Maharaja Parikshit, as all this is explained in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so continuation with the first verse, the second verse again, what is informed, I mean, Shukadev Goswami is giving it to Parikshit Maharaj is that these living entities are illusion. And that is, and then they are in forgetful nature, and then they have the option of different forms. Many forms are offered by the external energy of the Lord. So then we have unlimited, variegated varieties here. Like we see now within our own jurisdiction here in this material world, we have so many options to buy one particular product. So many things are there, and then we can enjoy to whatever extent we want. But there are some conditions applied for that enjoyment, but we still look forward to enjoy that. There are a lot of options. You name it, any product, we have lots of variety. So this is what we see. Where is it coming from? Krishna is providing this variety for us to use different bodies. Similarly, he is also giving us, for us to, in this material body to enjoy different ways, by all means, different ways to enjoy. So while enjoying, we are being afflicted with modes of material nature, and then that's how we are entangled. And then, living entity like that is getting into misconception of thinking it's me and I and mine, like that. So there are different forms. These different forms are like different dresses. Like we change a lot, like for different, like my son, if he goes to soccer, he has to go in a different attire altogether. If you go to school, he will wear a different dress. If he sleep night, he has a night dress. So things like that, swimming, this is swimming. So like that, we have uh, different bodies to take. And this is all provided, it's just like different dresses offered by the Lord through this illusionary energy, it's just external energy of the Lord. And according to the three modes, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, we all living beings are trying to enjoy like that. So this external material energy is represented by three modes. So this material nature, there is a this every one of us are independently, we have a choice, and independently we are choosing to get into different bodies. So Yamam Vapismaram Bhavam is there, at the end of our life, whatever we remember, that's what we just get that body. And then we hear from, Bharata Maharaj example, like how he was in the Bhava stage meditating, and suddenly he got attracted to this deer who just to the baby deer, she gave birth, and she's no more. And then Bharata Maharaj got so much compassion on that, baby deer. What do you call the baby deer? So just so much compassion on that, and then he wanted to look after, and then he got entangled and he forgot about his sadhana. And then, in that bhava stage, he just got, and then he just came into this took the deer form in his next life, and like that. But the Maharaj is an highest example I am quoting here. But we as human beings, after 8.4 million species, we got this rare opportunity of being human beings, but we have gone through all these varieties. What Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport, varieties of material bodies in the water, like 90 lakh, like that, 9 million there and 2 million here and like 1.1 there. So all these, birds and beasts, and, if you want to glide down in the water, we will just, become swimming in water like that, we become fish. And then if you want to just glide on without aeroplane, we just become a hawk, like different kinds of beasts like that. And then we want to, enjoy like earthworm, we'll become a earthworm. Enjoy like, potato plant, our own pleasure, they enjoy like that. So like that. So this is like, if you want to get a body of a tiger, we're getting that. Control over others, we are trying to do like that, getting into those bodies and transmigrating from one body to another body. And then that is enjoying spirit, the conditioned soul is having. So this body is how the body is changing from boyhood to youth to old age, and then old age to, leaving our body like that. Similarly, different bodies are getting transformed. We are transformed to different bodies like that. So this is all our personal desires. And then Lord, external energy of the Lord is supplying for us to enjoy those desires. So examples are given. Tiger wanted to enjoy blood of another animal, given that opportunity. So whatever we are desiring, Krishna is giving us. We wanted to become demigod on a higher planet, he is giving that also. So we can, if you are intelligent, that's what Prabhupada said. If you are intelligent enough, we can desire to get a spiritual body. Like someone Mataji said just now, right? If you want to remember, why not? You remember. And then you just be the, so the minute of that freedom of, that living entity, you can fully utilize. And then, so that's what, you just go back to the Lord like that. So Krishna, he will award the living entities whatever we desire. So it's our own choice like that. So that's why we say this human form is there for us to choose the next life. Better to be careful how to use our time like that. So as long as we are coming out of this entanglement of this time and this illusion energy, then trying to get connected to Krishna, then we have the opportunity to serve Krishna. And in that process of serving Krishna over a period of this lifetime, we may try to get that the prime rasas of how to, interact with Krishna in any loving exchanging relationship. The main concept is loving Krishna. So either in the, Vatsalya or Madhurya or Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, everywhere the love is the main thing which Krishna is looking for, love and devotion. So like that. So a person knows what it is. In a dream state, you're looking a golden mountain, but when dream is you're awakened from dream, what happened? There is no gold, there is no mountain, not to speak of golden mountain, like that Prabhupada is telling. So in the end, what Prabhupada is saying, that identification with the body. And then your different conceptions we are trying to, due to forgetfulness of real nature, that we are the servant of the Lord, like that. This is misconception is actually bewildering us living entities, and then we are actually not in contact or association with the Sukadev Goswami or Maharaj Parikshit, like that. So it's important that all this family binding and connections with society, nation, all that, so far it's all due to forgetfulness only. So the answers to these questions is given in the next verse. If everyone is okay, I'll go to the next verse, yeah, and then we will ask any questions because we have very short time. Hope all are okay.
Yes, Mataji.
यर्हि वा महिम्नि स्वे परास्मिन् कालमहायो रमते गतसम्मोहस्तक्तो वदस्ते ततो भयम्. Anyone wants to
Radhika Mataji?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yarhi vava mahim nisve parasmin kalamayayo rameta gata sammohas tvakto daste tadobayam. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Divya, Gopu, Mataji, want to read the translation?
Yes, Mataji. Dandavat pranams, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As soon as the living entity becomes situated in his constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconceptions of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested as the pure self. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat pranams.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else wants to read purport?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes, please, Prabhuji.
Okay. The two misconceptions of life, namely I and mine, are verily manifested in two classes of men. In the lower state, the conception of mine is very prominent, and the higher state, the misconception of I is prominent. In the animal state of life, the misconception of mine is perceivable even in the category of cats and dogs who fight with one another with the same misconception of mine. In the lower stage of human life, the same misconception is also prominent in the shape of it is my body, it is my house, it is my family, it is my caste, it is my nation, it is my country, and so on. And in the higher stage of speculative knowledge, the same misconception of mine is transformed into I am, or it is all I am, etc. There are many classes of men comprehending the same misconception of I and mine in different colors. But the real significance of I can be realized only when one is situated in the consciousness of I am, the eternal servitor of the Lord. This is pure consciousness, and the whole Vedic literatures teach us this conception of life.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, Padma Mataji will read.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam. The misconceptions of I am the Lord or I am the Supreme is more dangerous than the misconception of mine. Although there are sometimes directions in the Vedic literatures to think oneself one with the Lord, that does not mean that one becomes identical with the Lord in every respect. Undoubtedly, there is oneness of the living entity with the Lord in many respects, but ultimately the living entity is subordinate to the Lord, and he is constitutionally meant for satisfying the senses of the Lord. The Lord therefore asked the conditioned souls to surrender unto him. Had the living entities not been subordinate to the supreme will, why would the living entity be asked to surrender? Had the living being been equal in all respects, then why was he put under the influence of Maya? We have already discussed many times that the material energy is controlled by the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita 9.10 confirms this controlling power of the Lord over the material nature. Can a living entity who claims to be as good as the Supreme Being control the material nature? The foolish I would reply that he will do so in the future. Even accepting that in the future one will be as good a controller of material nature as the Supreme Being, then why is one now under the control of material nature? The Bhagavad Gita says that one can be freed from the control of the material nature by surrendering unto the Supreme Lord, but there is no surrender. Then the living entity will never be able to control the material nature. Mataji, somebody else wants to read, or should I continue?
Shilpa Mataji wants to read.
Mataji. Yeah.
So one must from there.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
So one must also give up the misconception of I by practicing the way of devotional service or firmly being situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. A poor man without any employment or occupation may undergo so many troubles in life, but if by chance the same poor man gets a good service under the government, he at once becomes happy. There is no profit in denying the supremacy of the Lord, who is the controller of all energies, but one should be constitutionally situated in one's own glory, namely to be situated in the pure consciousness of being the eternal servitor of the Lord. In his conditional life, the living entity is servant of the illusionary Maya, and in his liberated state, he is the pure, unqualified servant of the Lord. To become untinged by the modes of material nature in the qualification for entering into the service of the Lord, as long as one is a servant of mental concoctions, one cannot be completely free from the disease of I and mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Somebody else can.
Someone else wanted to recite, no? I heard some.
Sudha Mataji or some Prabhu.
Yeah.
Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Am I
Yes, Prabhu, please recite. Read, sorry.
purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The supreme truth is uncontaminated by the illusory energy because he is the controller of that energy. The relative truths are apt to be engrossed in the illusory energy. The best purpose is served. However, when one is directly facing the supreme truth, as one faces the sun hovers at the sky in the full of light. But when the sun is not in the visible sky, all is in darkness. Similarly, when he is face to face with the Supreme Lord, he is free from all illusions, and one who is not so is in the darkness of illusionary Maya. The Bhagavad Gita 14.26 confirms this as follows. Mam cha yo vibhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So the science of Bhakti Yoga, the worshipping of the Lord, glorifying the Lord, hearing the Shrimad Bhagavatam from the right sources, not from the professional man, but from the person who is Bhagavatam in life, and being always in the association of pure devotees should be adopted in earnestness. One should not be misled by conception of I and
mine.
And I and both are I and me, mine. The karmis are found. Mataji is.
Anyone wants to read, Mataji?
The karmis are found of the fond of the conception of mine. the jnanis are fond of the conception of I, and both of them are unqualified to be free from the bondage of the illusionary energy. Srimad Bhagavatam and primarily the Bhagavad Gita are both meant for delivering a person from misconception of I and mine. And Srila Vyasadeva transcribed them for the deliverance of the fallen souls. The living
Hare Krishna.
entity.
Prabhu Sudha Mataji will read now.
Oh, by all means. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Bol.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. So the science of Bhakti Yoga, of worshipping the Lord, glorifying the
Mataji,
Lord.
start from here, huh? This one, the living entity.
Okay. The living entity has to be situated in the transcendental position. In the transcendental
where there is
position
no influence
where there is no more influence of time nor of the material energy. In the conditioned life, the living entity is subjected to the influence of time in the dream of past, present, and future. The mental speculator tries to conquer the influence of time by future speculations of becoming Vasudeva or the Supreme Lord himself by means of culturing knowledge and conquering over ego. But the process is not perfect. The perfect process is to accept Lord Vasudeva as the supreme in everything, and the best perfection in culturing knowledge is to surrender unto him because he is the source of everything. Only in that conception can one get rid of the misconception of I and mine. Both Bhagavad Gita and the Shrimad Bhagavatam confirm it. Srila Vyasadeva has specifically contributed to the illusion living entities, the science of God, and the process of Bhakti Yoga in his great literature Shrimad Bhagavatam. And the conditioned soul should fully take advantage of this great science. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji. So here, what in this verse is actually saying us is this misconceptions of I and mine, they can be removed. They can be, we can get rid of them only by our sincere, mode of surrendering to Supreme Lord Krishna. So living entities, we are then at that time when we surrender to Supreme Lord Krishna, then we will be situated in that glorious constitutional position. And that's when we will be in that eternally. We will be in that serving the Lord beyond time and this material energy. That's what So we should give up these misconceptions of life, which is I and mine, and then that way you will be again fully manifested as a pure self, because soul is eternally pure. Soul will not have all the anarthas are not for the soul. Actually, anarthas are for the conditioned soul. So when entangled in this material world, then we are under the illusion, we are in the forgetful nature, and then like that, these misconceptions of life, namely I and mine, are manifested. And then in the lower state, Prabhupada is telling that we are thinking of this belongs to me, this belongs to my everything, considering like my family, my house, it is my caste, it's my nation, it's my country, like that. In a higher state, what's happening? We are actually transforming mind to I. Means some may make a propaganda I am God. Also, there are false bogus gurus like that are there. So that many people like that are going on, and that is what Prabhupada is telling, that misconceptions of I and mine, different colors in this material world under illusionary energy. So we have to realize that our as long as we are situated in this consciousness, we will not be able to get out of it. So once we are, remembering situated in that eternal consciousness, pure consciousness, then eternal servant of the Lord, then we will be able to understand that, getting away of this I and my can be done, and we'll surrender to the Lord. So as long as we are in this misconception state, it's more dangerous state like that. Is a crude example is that, you see a street dog may go to a different houses, and then one house street dog may get some nice beating, they may not give anything, they may just shut it away, and then other house they may give some rotten chapati or something like that. We are just going in different bodies like that, trying to enjoy different things. But it's a very crude example, but that's how it is actually. As long as we think that there is no enjoyment in this, actually, you instead of we becoming master, try, we just want to be better, to be servant and serve this Supreme Lord, then, that immediately will get liberated like that. So as long as we identify with this body like that. So Vedic, what Prabhupada is telling, that there are sometimes directions in the Vedic literatures to think oneself one with the Lord is there. That doesn't mean that one become identical with the Lord. So his oneness is there, but oneness doesn't mean that we are becoming one with the Lord. Achinta Veda Veda Tattva is there like that. So we are at the same time, simultaneously one and different like that. So that is what we have to understand, that we have to become the subordinate to the Lord. That is our constitutional position. Not to satisfy our senses, but to satisfy the senses of the Lord. So like that, conditioned souls, we don't, as long as we don't surrender to him, we cannot get into that position. So Lord therefore ask the conditioned souls to surrender to him. How he is asking? Because, in Bhagavad Gita, he says 9.10 that, everything is, this controlling power of the everything is run by the Lord only. Maya Dakshina Prakriti. So in this material world, everything is going under his direction only. And then, we are put under the influence of Maya, and then we are thinking we are doing it like that. So every living entity, we are claiming we are as good as God. And we are, thinking of eternity of a controlling power like that, but that is foolishness. So that, you accept that, we are not that and we are subordinate to the Lord, then at once one can become freed from that control of the material nature just by surrendering to the Supreme Lord. There is no surrenderance, then living entity will never be able to control the material nature. So like that, misconception of this should be gone only by practicing devotional service. And then if you're firmly situated in that practicing devotion service with love and devotion to the Lord, then that possible you will gain your constitutional position. So example, Prabhupada gave a poor man without an employment or occupation may undergo so many troubles. But by chance, if he gets some service under government, he'll be happy. It's like that, as long as we are under the influence of material energy, we are like under so many troubles and sufferings, we are not realizing. It's in a dream state, we are suffering, we're thinking is enjoying. But as soon as we are just got to our awakening to our, conditional position, to the constitutional position that we are servant of the Lord, then that's it. We become eternally happy. Soul is also Sachidananda Vigraha, and then such eternally blissful and happy, and then super soul also, Supreme Lord also. But in that conditional life, we are under illusory energy, and we are not trying to serve the Lord. In a liberated state, pure consciousness will be there, and then we will become qualified to serve the Lord. So that is untinged with the modes of material nature. So there should be no tinge of material ulterior motives. That's the qualification for us to enter to serve the Lord like that. So anything we do, service for the Lord, it's just for, when we do some service to the Lord, what we pray to the Lord is only to give more service to the Lord, but nothing else in this material world for us to enjoy. So in that mode, we don't have any, there's unflinching faith on Supreme Lord, and there's no tinge of desire to load it over material nature or enjoy this material nature. So if that is there, then, it's uncontaminated. You won't get contaminated with the illusionary energy, and you will be controlled by the Lord. Like that, how we hear from Shastra that, Lord is Bhakta Vatsala. And he is bounded by the love of the devotees, like that. You won't be controlled by material energy or illusion energy, like that. So it is like that. So best purpose is to be best is to be served. Not you don't expect to be served, but you do serve, like that. So, and a nice example Prabhupada is given here. If one is directly facing the Supreme Truth, if one faces the sun, they can see the light. If one turn away from the sun and sit in a dark, the sun will not be visible and you're in darkness. So like that, we are going away from Lord, facing our back to the Lord. We can't see the Supreme Lord. Beautiful feature. And then we are just under illusion, like that. So the reflection of the Supreme Lord's shadow we are in, like that. Yeah. So worshipping the Lord is where is important, and then hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam from the right source has been mentioned here, and then associating with pure devotees, and that eagerness to serve is there. So by all this, the misconceptions of I and mine will be gone. And then, that bondage, we will be freed from this bondage, illusionary energy, that knot will be cut. And then you will be able to. So, Shrimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, all these scriptures are us given by Srila Vyasadeva for us to get the knowledge in the parampara through, seeking shelter of bona fide representative of the Lord. And then, from there you gain knowledge, and at the same time you apply that knowledge in your material, in this conditional position, you apply that knowledge. With the knowledge, you will be able to serve the Lord. So it is your swadhyaya, when study the scriptures like this, and then seva should go simultaneously in the association of the devotees. There are 5 S's. Your seva, swadhyaya, sadachar, and service, and then scriptures. These are all important in our life to follow simultaneously. Then, what happens, you will realize our constitutional position. Living entities, in that no more will be influenced by the material energy. And then, in that they are no more subjected to the time in the dream or past, present, future like that. And they will be able to, gain the knowledge, and then in that state, they will be able to surrender to the Lord. So, and then they understand that Supreme Lord is source of everything. Yeah, and there's nothing that me and mine. Like if he is the source of everything, how can you become like source of that? Like that? So, Vasudeva specifically contributed. Prabhupada is mentioned in the purport line, the end, that he is given to all our illusionary living entities. He could see the future of Kali Yuga entities, how they are going to suffer. So he is under the instructions of Narada Muni, he has given us this beautiful literature, Shrimad Bhagavatam, so that we can fully take advantage and get rid of this misconceptions of I and mine, and able to get liberate and try to beyond liberation be in that constitutional position of serving the Lord, and so eternally we'll be happy like that. So that is what is the answer to the questions, body and how we are connected. The jiva is connected to the body, and then the positive solution is given in these 3 verses. Yeah. Anyone has anything to share or ask or contribute or anything?
But just now you said those 5 things are important. Can you repeat? Seva and what else?
Sadachar, Seva, Swadhyaya, and then scriptures, and what else? Other one? Sadhu, service. Yeah, service.
The second one you said Sada, Seva, and second one
Sadachar is good behavior, like that, and then Seva, scriptures, and what's the other one? Service. Seva is there, service is there, scriptures is there, Sadachar is there, and then
4 are there.
Swadhyaya.
Swadhyaya.
What is Swadhyaya in English?
Scriptures, your sadhana.
Okay.
Sadhana, Swadhyaya, Seva, Sadachar, and scriptures. Yeah. Anything else, Mataji?
Mataji, Seva and service are not both the same?
Yeah, Seva and service are same. Yeah, they are same.
Okay.
All good, Matajis?
So if there is no question, we can end the session.
Yeah.
With the permission of Mataji.
Yeah, no problem. Mataji, it's very, this understanding of this subject matter is very hard. So.
Yeah, Mataji.
It's not easy.
Already hearing so much, not mine, not me. Hearing it has gotten so much into our brain that it begins to nothing belongs to us.
Yeah, everything belongs to the Lord, so we don't, even it is, I keep hearing from other Maharajas or, even Srila Prabhupada many times, you see, you don't see your wife or husband as your wife or husband, treat them as a property of Krishna. In that mood, if you be in the family, you will be able to serve them.
Yes,
that is devotional service. Your children are also not yours, you are just connected to them. Your previous baggage of desires or karma, whatever bondage we have, you are there, but suddenly you may see some they lose their children or husband or any of these connections at a young age or abruptly suddenly happen. So it's just that that much you are entangled to be with them, that's all. So with the experiences in life we understand, but with the scriptures, Krishna has given us an opportunity to understand, just not wait for experience, just
even the body doesn't belong to us, so what else?
Correct. Yeah, body also doesn't belong to us, but we think it's all belonging to us. We have that eternal attachment, no? So that is instead of that we should turn ourselves to that rati should be for the Lord, not for us. Only thing we pray is like even Parikshit Maharaj also, end of the first canto, last chapter, what was his prayers? There are three things he prayed. His prayers are on 3 things. Anyone remember from the first chapter, first canto, last chapters? You always seek, he always seeks, he has that attraction for love and devotion for the Lord, and he wants to, be in the association of the devotees, and he wants to actually develop that compassion, treat everyone as a friend, like that, equally, everyone treat as a friend. So whenever we go in front of the Lord, when we take darshan, this only thing we can ask is to keep us in his service, and then, the association of the devotees, and then treat all the living entities equally, like that, So if that is there, then we will be protected by the Lord. But misconceptions will go. We'll be in surrendering mode always.
Thank you, Mataji, for all the detailed information. And pranam.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Mataji, for the
Krishna. Thank you,
wonderful session.
Mataji. Wonderful session. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, so we'll do Vaishnav Pranam.
Yeah. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya cha kripasindhubhyo cha patitanam
Anam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Anantakoti
Thank you so much,
Vaishnava
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, wonderful session.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna,
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pranam.